Boom, welcome back to the Quarter Pound
Guys?
Podcast, guys. It's your host, Big Sebs and Big Gib. And we're going to break down super quick UFC Wichita. Probably starts it's 2:55 p.m. Eastern, so it starts in 2 hours.
Okay.
Prelims start in 2 hours. So we're going to try and run through this super quick. Unfortunately, me and Gib, we are super busy this week, so this was literally, we were going to get together last night. I ended up falling asleep and stuff. It was just too tired, guys. And then this was the only time we could do the podcast. So we're going to still blast this out. Gibby, I need you to blast this out on your Instagram. I'm going to blast it out on mine. It'll be on the QP podcast, Instagram, Twitter, and then I'll put this up, obviously, on the YouTube as well. And I'll try to do timestamps for you guys, but I'll put all the picks and our most confident picks and everything like that in the description. But let's go ahead and start off with the first fight. Alex White versus Dan Moret. And I was a little confused at why Moret's a dog here, just because I think he's a pretty good fighter. He did get knocked out by Gilbert Burns pretty badly.
Gilbert Burns is a tough fight, though.
Yeah, and it obviously it was a short fight camp for him, right? It was a short notice fight. But you go look at this guy's losses, and they're just top quality guys, bro. It's you say what you want, bro. It's Gilbert Burns, Raoni Barcelos, who's like a fucking animal at 135 pounds right now and was fighting at 145 for a while. And I think he actually went up to 155 at some points, but no. Okay. So is this fight at 155? I think so. Yeah, because Alex White's 155, isn't he? I'm pretty sure. Yeah. This is 155.
For 155. Everybody weighed in perfect on weight, though.
Yeah.
This is a really good event. No cancellations, no changes.
But just like I was saying, his only losses are to guys look at who he's lost to: Raoni Barcelos, Gilbert Burns, Bobby Moffett, who's a fucking animal, and Luke Sanders when Sanders is undefeated at the time, right?
Yeah. Just got a W over Burrow.
And then he has some good wins too. If you go look, Jordan Griffin's a good win. Not too much after that, but fuck, I think he gets the win here against Alex White. I think he's probably a little bit better on the floor than Alex White. We saw Jim Miller just choke the fuck out of Alex White and drop him actually. Alex White hasn't beat anybody in the UFC, guys. It's fucking horrible. He's beaten Mitch Clark, and that was Mitch Clark's retirement fight. Mitch Clark's literally horrible. And then he beat Artem Lobov. Come on, bro. Go fuck yourself. And then
the legend Lobov? What do you mean, man?
And then he beat this guy Esteban Paya, and that was his first fight in the UFC. And that Mexican's not too good anyway, so whatever. And then all the time he's faced anybody relatively difficult. He's got fucked up. Rocco Martin, James Krause, Jim Miller. I thought he would have killed Jim Miller, but
yeah, I had him in that fight actually.
I'm just not a big fan of Alex White. He does throw hard and everything. He's just not one of the top. I don't see this guy ever being a top 20, maybe 25 fighter, but that's about it. Nothing too special. But yeah, I got Dan Moret in this. No bet, but I'm picking him for sure.
Yeah. I definitely have Dan Moret in this one too. I thought him getting paired up with Gilbert Burns was a bit unfortunate. I thought Gilbert Burns was going to be a real big problem for him in general. He's a pretty badass boxer, and Dan Moret just didn't really get to work his sort of stand-up jab that he needs to get going. He had a nice little front kick that he hit in between his guard. He's got a similar little front kick that he kind of aims in there like Khabib and Nurmagomedov every now and then. Tends to get through the guard, hits people. He's really good at putting on a triangle choke. He did it on Jay Ellis, very quick, tightening up the legs. This guy can land some pretty good stuff from the top when he does get the singles going, good body kicks, and he's not afraid to slam, and he doesn't care about using energy. He'll hurt people. Alex White, he's a southpaw. likes to move forward a lot. I felt that kind of was a bit of a problem in the his last fight. Even his loss kind of impressive. He fought James Krause though, so I think that was a pretty tough fight for him. He got through some real tough rounds, and they were throwing anvils at each other. It was amazing. It was a really good fight actually, and he kept the kicks in there. He had a really good fight with Roy Babcock as well. He got some spinning kicks in there early, but I just don't think he has much of a good ground game, especially the fact that Miller caught him in that first round. I don't think Moret's ground game is like exponentially better than his, but I do think his stand-up is just enough, and I'm pretty sure he can wrap up something on the floor. He gets arm triangles, he gets guillotine, stuff like that. So, yeah, I think Moret's got a pretty good even stat in this fight, even on the stand-up. So,
yeah,
I think it goes Dan Moret's way, whether it's decision or he ends it by submission.
Oh, fuck. All right. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, you got me.
Okay. Okay, so next up we got Alex Morono taking on Zach Ottow.
This fight.
Yeah, I think Zach Otto's going to be able to get Morono down.
Mm-hmm.
Not too impressed with either of these guys lately.
Yeah, weird fight he had with Dwight Grant.
Yeah, really, I didn't like that fight at all. I had Dwight Grant too, and I just didn't like that fight. And then he got knocked out by Sage Northcutt. Knocked out bad against Jing Liang, completely quit. Zach Ottow isn't anything special either. But Alex Morono is the same thing, man. He's nothing special either. This is a tough one to pick. I'll go with Zach Ottow, though.
Yeah. He's got a really tough grappling game plan, man.
Yeah. How would you give? Who do you like?
I got Zach Ottow in this one. I think when he does get the grappling started, it's very difficult to get away from him. He was able to put Sage Northcutt on the floor in the first round, if you can see that. He gets beaten up quite a bit. It was only once Sage Northcutt was able to stand up and get his striking back that he was able to kind of make his way back into the fight. Zach Ottow is still real rough, man, and he will stop at nothing to get those single legs, sucks people's legs into him and gets people on the floor. Really good pressure, and can sometimes be a little behind on in the striking department. If Alex Morono does what he does, he's a very entertaining striker. He had a bit of a weird striking match with Kita Nakamura, but he seems to be a little jumpy. He can still land every now and then in there, but I think he might get taken down on the ground in this fight. I think he has a chance on the stand-up, but I think if Zach Ottow takes it to the ground, he might even get a finish here. I think he might finish him with punches on the floor or something. So, yeah, I got Zach Ottow in that one.
All right. Next up, we got Louis Smolka to go Matt Schnell. This actually at 135 pounds. Originally I was gonna take Smolka. I was actually gonna play him when he was still a dog and everything. I was looking at everything, man, and he's just since he left, before he left the UFC, he was on a 4-fight losing streak.
Yeah.
Really bad. And then he comes back, right? He goes to fight in CXF and all these other shitty organizations, and he ends up coming back against this Chinese guy, Su Margri or whatever, who's a pretty good striker, and Smolka just takes him down at will. The thing that impresses me about and ends up submitting him. The thing that impresses me about Smolka is this guy just doesn't quit.
No, he doesn't.
You can have him super deep in any choke or an armbar or something. He's just not tapping. He's ready to let that shit break or pass out or something. He's not even down to tap.
You're telling me that Tim Elliott and the Nicolau fight?
Yeah, the Nicolau arm triangle
he gets out of a lot of shit.
Yeah, that Nicolau arm triangle, I believe it was.
The
he got out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Schnell, after his like two like first losses in the UFC, he's on back-to-back wins right now, just beating Naoki anyway. And Naoki, in my opinion, is actually a better, probably a better grappler than Smolka. Naoki's a really good grappler. They're not too good standing up, but he's a good grappler. Same with Smolka. I don't think too highly of Smolka's stand-up. I think Schnell's going to be able to piece him up on the stand-up with some just good boxing and everything, and they'll take Smolka to use some bad shots, and I see Schnell maybe locking up a submission here and finishing Smolka. So originally I was going with Smolka, but I do like Schnell now.
Yeah, I was actually starting to look at some of those fights that you were mentioning when we were talking about Louis Smolka, and his jiu-jitsu off the back really does impress me because he has it, and it's an ability that I can definitely see him using, getting an arm bar in his last fight, or even though he had to leave the UFC for quite a while, and rack up a bunch of really quick wins. Like he had all these fights in 2018, like just like 4
yeah.
fights.
Oh yeah.
I have to admit, amazing effort, and especially coming off of a fight like that. But I think he still has quite a bit of his old tendencies in there. I think Matt Schnell is quite a good striker when he gets a lot of punches off, especially when he starts speeding things up. He's got good movement too. He's able to have some decent footwork. Inoue is a better grappler than Smolka, but I think Smolka would have a real tough time in that fight, whereas I think the split decision is very doable. Was a very doable fight for Matt Schnell. Either way, he had to fight Rob Font and Sandoval, getting knocked out in those two fights, and Tim Elliott. But he's been doing really well as of recently, and I think he beats up Louis Smolka in this one. But Smolka's real tough, and I think he's actually is he the favorite in this one?
Yeah, he is.
By a little bit.
Yeah, by a small bit.
I can see why. He's making a really big comeback, and he definitely wants it. But I know he was talking about retiring after that last loss. I'm surprised he kept in it the way he was doing it. But yeah, I think Matt Schnell takes this.
Okay, so our next fight is Maurice Greene versus Jeff Hughes. Absolutely going to run through this in about 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Maurice Greene versus Jeff Hughes was one of the most boring fights I've ever watched in the heavyweight division, maybe of all time. Their first fight. Oh yeah.
God, that was crazy. But you see Maurice Greene striking, man.
He's fucking horrible, bro. He's a kickboxer. He better have some.
Yeah, it's like glory. Right?
But he's nothing special, bro. Very like. Not the best striker, not good grappler. Even though he hit that triangle on Michel Batista,
yeah, that was pretty good.
I picked him in that fight too. I bet him, but because Michel Batista is fucking horrible. But Jeff Hughes actually knows what the fuck he's doing. This is a guy who trains with Stipe, right?
Yeah, tough.
And his only loss is to Dan Spawn. So we do know he can be knocked out. I'm not super confident on this pick, but I do like Jeff Hughes here to grind out another decision against Maurice Greene. Just really cage grapple him and just like make his life miserable. Yeah, so I got Jeff Hughes here.
You know what? He destroyed a pet.
A pelt or something.
Yeah, on the Dana White Contender Series, destroyed him. Now I think that guy was kind of put there for him to beat anyway. But I thought that dude was pressuring him quite early, and Jeff Hughes normally can keep things kind of light, kind of slow in the beginning. They say he's a slow starter, but he actually did really well starting off fast in that round. I think he should probably start this round off quick the same way. Maurice Greene, man, they did fight before, and in that fight, it's just wild. No technique whatsoever. They're just throwing bombs and kind of freestyling out there. But I know Jeff Hughes did win that one. I think he dominated like every round. Something like that.
He got 50. It was 50-45.
Yeah, I can definitely see that happen again. Maurice Greene is still pretty deadly, very dangerous, just kind of, very reckless. But at the same time, man, his knees, his uppercuts, his striking. Again, this is a glory kickboxer, so he's pretty good at walking forward, and he's very calm, good at switches feet, kicks left and right sides, and really makes people wobbly. The problem is when he gets tired, everything just goes out the window. Seems like he staggers a lot. He looked pretty good in the Ashley Epps fight in Glory, if you check that out. But his stance and his style is just very, very weird. It's very his own. I think maybe that's why Jeff Hughes had a bit of a tough time with him. But I think Jeff Hughes shouldn't have too much of a problem getting his takedowns and beating him up similar way. I kind of want Maurice Greene to win this one, but I think Jeff Hughes will take it as well. Yeah. I think he's a bit of a better all-around. I can see why he's 9,000 on DraftKings, but I actually think Maurice Greene is worth the pickup if you don't have the money left over.
Yeah, I think Maurice Greene's worth a stab on DraftKings.
Yeah. This is definitely a good stab to take, I think.
All right, so our next fight is Grant Dawson taking on Julian Erosa. From what I remember and what I literally just watched on Grant Dawson is a very good grappler. I'll give him that 100%. Good grappler, strong as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Especially at 145 pounds. Good grappler. Not a good striker, man. Fucking a lot to be desired on the stand-up. Like, turns his back and stuff. It's just stuff I don't like. He gets hit quite a lot. Really looks for that takedown and stuff, and once he gets it, he likes the ground and pound or work for submission. He's going against Julian Erosa, though, who's like a pretty good fucking grappler on his own right as well. Yeah. You can't underestimate Erosa. Did get knocked out by Devontae Smith, but this is you go watch that Jamal Emmers fight, and that was pretty damn impressive. And I had Jamal Emmers in that fight, and then go watch his back in the day. Not even that long ago, but when he fought Paddy Pimblett and Cage Warriors for the title, Julian Erosa won that fucking fight, and they just gave it to Paddy Pimblett because it was in Liverpool or whatever. But fucking Julian Erosa won that fight, in my opinion. But this is the same guy who's been knocked out by Teruto Ishihara.
Lobov.
Did he get knocked out by Lobov?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the Ultimate Fighter, yeah.
Tell you, man, the legend strikes again.
Yeah, so I am going to actually go with Grant Dawson here. I think he's going to be able to get some takedowns. I don't know if he'll be able to submit Julian, but I think he wins on points at least, maybe a 29-28 decision. Not super confident, but I am picking Grant Dawson.
I think he can throw some pretty decent strikes together when he does get a hang of it. I think Adrian Diaz had him quite a bit in the beginning before I got the choke, on the stand-up.
Yeah.
Bit of a problem. I think he was turning his back. Was that the fight?
Yeah.
Okay. I think he landed some good punches, though, in between. And when he did take him down, he didn't really have much of a problem getting that choke. Really good at flattening people out, especially. Locked up a nice one in the second round. Again, he kind of takes a bit of a back foot when people are really fast starters, but he can start to move back into the fight and kind of get his groundwork to move. Whereas Julian Erosa, he fought Artem Lobov. No shame in losing. Honestly, I don't think Artem Lobov is as bad as a lot of people say he is. He got destroyed in a crazy cross counter. Check that out. Kind of cost him at that one. He was a little gun shy there, actually. So, Erosa throws spinning back kicks every now and then, throws good hooks, kind of gets on his back foot, throws a lot of jabs at you, kicks, jabs, low kicks, low punches, occasional slip every now and then. He gets caught in between a lot, quite often, and he's open a lot at all times. He has that front hand very low. If he gets amped up, he'll take shots while he walks forward, and he'll trade singles. It doesn't matter. He snuck in a really nice high kick against Jamal Emmers in that fight that you were mentioning. So he's still dangerous, but I think Grant Dawson takes it as well. he pretty much. Yeah, I think he can get another submission.
Who, Grant Dawson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he might be able to get one.
Be,
I'm watching his fight with Diaz like right now while you're talking, and like
yeah, this could be 3 in a row, man.
He's good at taking the back.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find how many submissions he had. Yeah, I think this could be his third. Yeah, so I got Grant Dawson in that one.
He's got a pretty strong squeeze too. Yeah, I also got Grant Dawson. A lot of close fights though on this card.
They've definitely evened everybody out in terms of like tier. Everybody's kind of fighting their same.
Yeah, very close fights, like super close fights.
Yeah, this is very fair card.
Yeah, I just realized the fights are like fucking an hour and a half. That's amazing. I've because we usually shoot on Thursday or Friday. I completely forgot right now, even though we just said it. But this is Saturday. Fucking awesome. Okay, so I have something to look forward to. Okay, our next fight, Marion Reneau taking on Yana Kuntiskaya. And I think I got Marion Reneau in this fight just because,
really?
She looked pretty good as of late, bro. You can't lie, right? She's only lost to
body shot stuff against Lena Landsberg, right?
Who?
That's who she fought, Marion. Oh no, Talita Bernardo. That was it.
Yeah.
Talita Bernardo. She was throwing some like switch hand body shots.
Buddy, you want to watch nasty ground and pound? Go look at that fight. She lets the ground and pound loose at the end of the third round to get the finish. But she was absolutely destroying Talita Bernardo as well. And then super impressive. She takes out Sarah McMahon with a triangle choke.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah McMahon's a really good grappler too, so that was impressive. And then she loses to Kat Zingano in a pretty close fight, right? But Kat won the decision there. Yana, coming off her win with Landsberg. Before that was Cyborg and shit, but Yana, I'm not super high on Kuntiskaya yet. She's a pretty good striker and everything, but I think if Mary Reneau is able to take her down, she's going to be able to control her on the floor and probably get a submission. So I'm going with Mary Reneau here.
I could definitely see why you're looking at the submission loss. She seems to have trouble on the ground. I think she got choked out by Tanya Evinger.
Oh man,
a long time ago. So she's kind of stayed away from a lot of those kind of grappling matches. Lena Landsberg, quite a decent fighter, and when she gets you to the ground, it could get a little difficult. But she hasn't really been up against anyone who's ready to get her in some sort of submission. So this is definitely a big step up for her. I think Reneau at 41, right? 42? She's still.
I don't know. I think she's 40. She's in her 40s for sure.
Yeah. Killed Talita Bernardo. I really like that fight, actually. She threw like a switch stance body shot. I'm kind of looking that over. It looked kind of nice, man. Nice tripod sweep in that fight, too. Really good grappling match. Check that one out. From the first round onward, it's just lots of grappling. Some good switch stances and body punches. She's got her experience. She knows what she's doing, and she knows what she's good at. Super tough, always standing in front of you. And, she's a good example of what kind of style to use as you kind of get that age up there and you want to conserve as well as being a threat. Whereas Yana Kuntiskaya really has a stand-up. She's got a good jab, good block, good kick. She's really good at throwing those strikes and then getting a counter together, whether it's through a block, through a slip, and decent at hitting those legs. She threw the body knees a lot against Lena Landsberg. I think she can use that against Reneau as well. But Reneau's going to be a real trouble grappling, and I never really looked at it that way. I think Reneau will have a difficult time. I think this is a pretty high level striker she's dealing with. I mean, she only really lost to Chris Cyborg going into the UFC. So this is kind of a step down for her in terms of that. But I think Yana Kuntiskaya beats her up on the stand-up. I think there could be a few instances where she definitely gets close to the floor or even gets on the floor and might have to wear the rounds out and then go on to the next and start at standing and start to win. But I think Yana Kuntiskaya takes this. Definitely submission trouble at all times, though.
Okay.
It's a good step.
Tired. Okay, next fight. First play of the night for me. I got 4 units actually on not Anthony Rocco Martin by a decision.
Yeah, I was wondering why this guy's so high up there.
Who?
On DraftKings, Anthony Martin's like 9,000, I think.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Really? Good shit.
I have him like so. Pretty much the bet is like he can't get a knockout or a submission or a TKO, and I win. And I don't see him submitting Sergio. First of all, Sergio's beat Crone fucking Gracie 3 times in Abu Dhabi Championship. So have a great time trying to fucking have an excellent time trying to submit Sergio, who's been a black belt for fucking so long.
Against Oliver Mercier. Anthony Rocco Martin, though, man.
Yeah, fuck that guy again. He's only had 1 knockout in his career against Ryan LaFleur. Other than that, he's just like a submission specialist kind of guy, and I don't see him submitting Sergio, and I really don't see him knocking Sergio out as well. I actually see Sergio winning this fight. So along with the 4 units on not Rocco Martin inside the distance, I have 1.5 units on Sergio Moraes at plus 182. And I think he's a really good dog in this fucking fight here. I think he's the biggest dog on the card, if I'm not mistaken. And like, what shows you how close these fights are. But fuck, in my opinion, bro, this guy is like, if he gets it to the floor, he can very well tap Rocco Martin out super quick, like super fucking quick. It's gonna be. I'm not saying it's gonna be easy to get him to the floor, but I think he will be able to get him to the floor at one point. Yeah, I just have Serginho all day here. I think Serginho taps him out in the second round. So I got 1.5 units on Sergio Moraes and 4 units on not Anthony Rocco Martin by inside the distance. So, Gib, what do you got?
I can see why Anthony Martin is the favorite, but I actually like the fact that you're not picking him. I think Anthony Martin's a bit overrated in this fight too. He's definitely been killing it, and I thought the split decision with Oliver Mercier was definitely worth the high price for him. And I can see why he's the favorite. Really good at escaping submission. He escaped a nice guillotine that got put on early by Jake Matthews. Took a bit of a shot like that in the second, but he gets on his back foot a little bit, starts to get back in there. He's quite good. Throws quite a bit of right hands. He's got bombs in there as well. And he's got a good punch and clinch game and can really get people off balance and on the floor. But Sergio Moraes works really good off the back and almost seems super comfortable in his fights. He hurts a lot of people quite often with his kind of clunky punches, but it's almost like he's prepared to miss those sloppy ones and then all of a sudden throw a kick and throw like a random one. He's always really good at throwing punches at the buzzer, really good in those late stages of the fights. He's got some good survival moments, and I can see this being a pretty big pick for the night. He's good at going from clinches to punches, right back to hooks, and then right back to clinches. At times, he can definitely run out of a bit of steam, and striking looks a little sloppy, but I think he makes it work. On the floor, again, good luck. This guy rolled at Crone Gracie, and we all know how deadly he is. So I don't think Anthony Martin will be too much of a problem for him in the grappling or on the floor. It just matters if Anthony Martin is winning that stand-up. What's it called? But Sergio Moraes is pretty quick. I actually like Sergio Moraes in this fight, and I can see him submitting Anthony Martin in this one.
All right, we hit the main card. Omari Akhmedov taking on Tim Boetsch.
Jeez.
I was going to take Omari Akhmedov in my 2-unit parlay that I played. I said, fuck that after watching tape. He gets hit so much.
He does.
It's ridiculous how much this guy gets hit. And he gasses, like, super fucking quick, too. Like, really quick. Like, I don't know if it was because it was his first time at 185, too. But he gassed really quick against Marvin Vettori. And like him against Vettori and Alhaz, the only Akhmedov has a fucking chin on him, like crazy chin. Like he was taking shots like an absolute monster.
Yeah.
I think he's been knocked out a few times though. Yeah. Zaleski knocked him out. Sergio Moraes actually knocked him out. And then he's been choked out twice. Tim Boetsch, on the other hand, bro, I'm just always looking to fade Tim Boetsch when I can. That's why I was going to play Omari Akhmedov. This guy's, to me, he's one of the worst fighters like there could be. Like, I don't know how this guy was. And, like, they even say on Tabology he's number 21 current best MMA middleweight. Like, there's no fucking way. Sorry.
No fucking way.
Trains in his garage. For everybody who doesn't know, his head coach is his father-in-law. Who was a high school wrestler, and that's his only credential as a wrestler. So that's fucking embarrassing. Yeah, man, I'm just not high on Tim Boetsch at all. We saw his last fight against Antonio Carlos Jr. Got submitted super quick, but we know like Antonio Carlos Jr. is like no fucking joke. Can't wait till we get to see Carlos Jr. back as well, by the way. But man, he's just been submitted or finished. He's been finished so many fucking times. It's crazy. And I can see him getting knocked out here against Omari Akhmedov. I think this is going to be a slugfest. That's why they put it on the main card to open it up. But I can see either guy getting dropped here. Omari took all of 2018 off because of an injury, I'm pretty sure. But I think he gets back in the win column against Tim Boetsch here. I think he's going to knock Tim Boetsch out.
True. You know what? I definitely think if the Tim Boetsch shows up that beat Johnny Hendricks in 2017.
Oh my God, Johnny Hendricks was so bad, bro. Don't even say that, man.
Well, I mean, like if he shows up with something like that, to have that strong ground pound, to have that stand up, have that big right hand that people are actually afraid of, I think he has it because. I mean, Tim Boetsch has a really long reload time. Like it just takes him quite a while to get his ducks in a line so he can kind of start to go. But a lot of that, reload time, a lot of fighters are kind of moving around them and kind of doing their own thing. But when guys are scared and when guys are standing on their back foot and they're sitting there waiting for Tim Boetsch to reload, you better believe that guy's going to narrow down a pretty decent strike. Omari Akhmedov. I thought he was pretty impressive in the Abdul Razak fight. I thought he made that fight tilt in his favor, especially seeing as Abdul Razak is badass, man. That guy only lost that fight. He's been killing it since then. And he didn't even lose to Nico Price, and he's on this card too. But at the same time, like he didn't lose to anyone who has a very weird style. He's got something. I'm not sure if Omari Akhmedov is related to Ali Akhmedov, who's also a boxer. Could have a really good sparring partner if that is the case, and a decent boxing background. Seems like he has pretty decent boxing punches, though his hands do drop quite a bit, but it is heavyweight, so people's arms are super heavy. He's got a pretty decent jab. He's got fast hooks. He's able to land some nice shots for a few seconds when he's in the pocket, and he always kind of scatters big shots in there as well while he throws numbers out there. But I actually think he's going to beat Tim Boetsch. I don't really think it plays into him. I normally take Boetsch. I like the Barbarian, but just not in this fight. I think Omari beats him up.
I think it's actually important to note, if you guys go look at the weigh-ins, Tim Boetsch used to, I hope you guys know this, Tim Boetsch used to fight at 205 pounds, and Akhmedov used to fight at 170. Go look at the weigh-ins. Akhmedov looks fucking bigger than Tim Boetsch. He looks bigger than Tim Boetsch in the pictures.
Yeah, that's true. Tim Boetsch is might be coming in a little lighter footed or a little lighter, so you can move around.
It's probably a little hectic for him to make 185, but yeah, we both got Akhmedov. Next fight, Benny Dariush taking on Dober.
I love
this is like my first, not my first play of the night, but the first leg of the three-leg parlay. 2 units on Benil Dariush here. Played Thiago Moises against him, and that was like, bro, he out-grappled the grappler, like a black belt or whatever. And like Benny himself is a high-level black belt. He's faced guys, like I said, Chrome Gracie. He's faced top-level guys in jiu-jitsu in Abu Dhabi and shit. He's a high-level black belt, and he was facing these guys as a brown belt. He's just high-level, man. Really high-level grappler.
Stupid, that fight.
And his Muay Thai is really coming together, especially since he's at King's. Drew Dober, not the best grappler, so I think that's the path to victory for Dariush here. That Benny's going to out-grapple Dober. Possibly find a submission as well. I think Benny wants to make an impact in this fight. Drew Dober, pretty good stand-up as well, man. Amateur Muay Thai background and shit, so he does have some nice stand-up. Trains at like Team Elevation with like Neil Magny and all those guys, and like he trains at he goes to Easton's and shit. Like trains all over Colorado, but he's pretty legit, man. He's definitely got tree trunks for legs and shit, so Benny's gonna have to watch out for that. But he's got cracked multiple times. Like, go watch even his fight when he fought Alban Mercier.
Yeah.
In UFC 206, and Alban cracked him a few times when he should have definitely had the advantage on the stand-up, and like Mercier hurt him a few times on the stand-up, and then ended up taking his back and choking him out. And I see pretty much the same thing happening here. I think Benil Dariush is gonna end up submitting Drew Dober. So I got 2 units on Dariush here with 2 people later in the card, and yeah.
I really like this fight. I'm a big fan of Drew Dober. I love his fights. I liked his fight with Nick Heen. Loved this fight with Frank the Crank. And I even like this fight that he just recently had with John Tuck. He's a super impressive boxer. Really deadly high kick. Decent groundwork when he can't get you there. His tenacity starts, and man, you're going to have to weather the storm. Just Dober, it can flurry like no tomorrow. And he's one of those guys that he might stagnate just a little bit. Like, he might not throw, and he'll just kind of be chilling. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, a fury comes, and you're dodging 5 or 6 quick punches. He looks to land really critical shots, so it's not like he's just throwing things out there. He's trying to land certain ones in between those those mass combos he's throwing out there. Benil Dariush, he shines in some close quarters combat. He went close quarters with Edson Barboza, and I thought he looked pretty impressive. He walked into some damage and kind of tilted his body every now and then to kind of take a little bit of the sting off. I thought that's quite a big move for Dariush, and if he uses that within his striking, I can see where he gets a lot of the body kicks. I can see why a lot of his pressure is really good. He's a lot of kind of bull tactics. Flying knees are in there. I mean, he put a recent fight with Thiago Moises that you were talking about. Man, just got bullied in the first round. Just super tough on the fence. Really good grappler. And I mean, if he makes this fight boring, Drew Dober is gonna have a real tough time. I think if he makes this just a big grind fest, Drew Dober's wrestling is eventually going to crack, and he won't be able to do too much. But obviously, the power and the boxing is always going to be there. I think this fight's going to be a brawl. I don't exactly know who's going to win. I kind of want Dober, but at the same time, his grappling isn't even close to Dariush. I think Dariush can put him up in a submission anytime he wants to. They're both on W's. I think Dober could get his first loss in a while. Whereas I think Dariush already lost to Alexander Hernandez, And I think Hernandez probably could have done a number on Dober if he didn't fight Cerrone. So yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards Dariush. You kind of switched me around there, man.
Yeah, because you had Dober coming in.
I like Dober in almost every fight he has, but this one isn't looking as good as I thought. Yeah.
All right, next up, the return of Big Ben Rothwell taking on Blagoy Ivanov, and another guy I was thinking about playing before watching the tape and shit. I completely forgot how bad Blagoy is. Junior Dos Santos tuned this guy up for 5 rounds, 50-45 them. Really fucked him up for 5 rounds. Just completely outboxed him. Blagoy does not throw a lot. He just looks for that overhand. Not even that good of a wrestler. I think Ben Rothwell is going to be able to probably take him down at one point. But if not, I think Ben Rothwell is going to be able to finish this guy. We haven't seen Ben in like 3 years. But,
it's a real big layoff.
I think he gets a win in this comeback here, so I'm going with Ben Rothwell.
Yeah. It's interesting that they're both coming off of Dos Santos fights. That's kind of a cool little matchup. I kind of wonder if Ben Rothwell wins it, if he gets the Santos fight after, or if Ivanov wins it, they do a rematch. But I don't know if they want to see that. I could see Ben Rothwell doing well in this. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge him if his fight's so far back. I mean, you don't exactly know what he's added to his game since then, or what he might bring back and what he might drop. He's good at shooting for takedowns, showing people his hand speed first, and then grabbing that single. Pretty much, picking up where he left off, man. He had 4 straight wins before his loss. Very dangerous vet, man. He's got some stinging long punches. He kind of knows what spots to stay in. When he wants to be flat-footed, it actually seems to work for him, whereas a lot of boxers a lot of UFC fighters kind of lose to those boxers. When they're standing in one spot for too long, they get pieced up. Whereas Ben Rothwell, he's not really going to get pieced up. He can kind of time a nice punch down the line and it'll land. Ivanov seemed like a pretty good boxer to me in the Santos fight. The overhand was overused a lot, and once he kind of exhausted that weapon, Santos kind of started to take advantage. Going all 5 rounds with a pretty high level heavyweight, I thought was pretty good experience for him. Seemed to really look for some nice single, hard jabs, a single jab and a nice hook. He's got a good lead hook that seems to work when he gets it going. Changes his pace up so he can land those first few punches. But Ivanov seems to give up if he can't land a single. And I think that's what's going to cost him this fight if Ben Rothwell wins it. I think this is kind of a layup for Ivanov. I think he should be able to take him. He's been in training camps a little longer. He just came off with Dos Santos, and it was a 5-rounder. So, this one's back to 3, so it'll be a little bit easier for him. And he's fighting Rothwell, who's been off for a while. I don't really see him losing this fight too badly, as long as he keeps from using that overhand a little too often. I think that was what made him slip in that Dos Santos fight. But he's got a few chokes from the ground. He's got guillotine and stuff like that. But it's nothing that Ben Rothwell has been has been going up against. He's seen it all before. So this could be a very difficult fight for him. But I got Ivanov in this one. I actually think he ends this.
All right, next up on the card, Nico Price versus the Dirty Bird Tim Means, and it's the second leg of my 2-unit parlay. I got Tim Means. I just think Tim Means, first of all, is going to outstrike Nico Price like crazy. It's not even going to be fair. Nico Price doesn't throw a lot of strikes during his fights, and Tim Means is very active, throwing a lot of strikes in his fights. Great boxing, really good jab and straight. I think he's going to be able to crack Nico Price on the jaw. Nico gets a little too wild and stuff. I can see him even out-grappling Nico Price. Nico Price is like a brown belt, but he's, to me, not even close to a brown belt level. He gets out-grappled pretty easily on the floor and shit.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that guy's a brown belt, but And he was given a brown belt after he knocked somebody out, I think. Like, that's fucking ridiculous. Like, I've never heard of that, but okay. Yeah, so I got Tim Means here. I just don't think Nico Price has what it takes to compete with a guy like Tim Means. Tim Means has this is gonna be his 40th fight.
Yeah. He got over twice as many fights.
Yeah, his experience is on his side. Yeah. I got Tim Means all day here. 2 units with Tim Means, Beneil Dariush, and one more play later in the card.
You know what? Nico Price, he seems to just get out of these crazy fights that you watch a Randy Brown fight. Like, Randy Brown was kicking, just playing Nico Price all over. And what do you know? A reverse backhand just out of nowhere hits him, and he gets his W. But Nico Price has gotten other wins like that previously. He's got some very wild moves, similar to John Walker. At losing moments of the fight. This guy is like the striking version of Brian Ortega. Like, he gets like the winning knockout as he was getting beaten up.
Yeah.
I think a guy like Luque or a style similar to Luque's is needed for Tim Means. If Tim Means can light him up on the hand and then get right on the floor and wrap him up for a choke, I see no doubt in the fact that Tim Means beats up Nico Price. But Nico Price could be a little wild, whereas Tim Means is very calm. Goes at his own pace. Seems to kind of go backwards on a lot of people. He got hit up a bit by Ricky Rainey, but then all of a sudden starts to come alive and gets on top and destroys him. I actually thought Ricky Rainey could have won that fight. Tim Means has pretty decent experience. He's not going to win in 1 minute, but he's good at tilting fights if people think that they're tough. Like, he went up against guys like Bilal Muhammad and showed them that it's not easy to beat me up. Split decision. Sergio Moraes, split decisions. This guy's a very difficult fight in general. So I think Tim Means always brings it. So does Nico Price. Yeah, you know what? I had Nico Price going into this, but I kind of want to go for Tim Means a little bit more now. I think he has a bit more of a grappling background than Nico Price does, as well as the experience. Still a tough fight.
Okay. Next up is Zaleski Dos Santos taking on Curtis Millender. It's a co-main event. I got 2 units on Zaleski Dos Santos at plus 105. And I also put the 0.5 units on him by submission at plus 800. Ridiculous fucking odds because he's a black belt and Millender's, I'm pretty sure, a blue belt. So I don't know how you're giving me plus 800 on that. So thanks for that.
There.
Just shout out the odds makers there. Yeah, I think Zaleski is gonna put that pressure on Millender. Millender's actually pretty good at fighting backwards, but I think the pressure and pace is gonna be too much from Zaleski. You really never know what this guy's fucking throwing with his capoeira, and he comes in with flying knees, spinning heel kicks, and bro, he's just dangerous. And if this hits the mat, I see Zaleski finishing Curtis Millender rather quickly. So I'm on Zaleski or 2 units plus 105 and 0.5 units at plus 800 by submission there.
I can see what you mean when you're saying that Curtis Millender definitely is dangerous going backwards. It seems like that's where he lands a lot of his strikes. People who go forward are generally real comfortable, and they walk into shots. And Curtis Millender, I mean, he has that cross and that hook that just has that damage. Whereas Zaleski, I think he's as wild as Millender, but like you said, maybe the capoeira and his kicks, they look really fluid. Even the spin kicks that this guy misses look good. Looking super slick on the stand-up at times. He can come out with a little bit of a wide stance and very open. So I think he's definitely there to get hit by a big bomb through Curtis Millender. But I think Zaleski has way more strikes. I've just seen this guy throw a lot of cool stuff. Spinning backhands, kicks, and he's got great ground game. And, I've seen a few good punches, a few good hooks. I see him use the punches in coordination with the kicks. So a few punches to the head, kicks to the body, kicks to the legs. I think once he finds that kind of in the middle, maybe he can start throwing the capoeira in there. Wouldn't be surprised if he actually gets one of those capoeira kicks on Curtis Millender, especially in the body when Curtis Millender starts missing the punches. But I got Zaleski for this one.
All right.
I think the odds makers ruined this one on DraftKings. I think it was like 9,000 for Curtis Millender.
Wow. Okay, so our main event, 5 rounds in the heavyweight division. We got Derek Lewis taking on Junior Dos Santos. This is the final leg of my parlay for 2 units. I got 2 units on Junior Dos Santos,
nice.
Tim Means, and Benil Dariush here. I just think Dos Santos, first of all, is going to get ahead super quick with the boxing and everything. He's going to steal a lot of rounds with the boxing, and he's going to utilize that leg kick a lot. It's going to slow down Lewis. Lewis is not active at all. Terrible back. Has a worse back than my grandmother. And literally just got mauled by DC.
I think a lot of people saw that coming.
He just looks for that fucking overhand right. Literally, that's the only thing he does. It's fucking embarrassing. I really don't think highly of Derek Lewis at all. I don't think he's even a top 10 heavyweight, never mind a top 5, but really don't think he's anything special whatsoever. He's a funny guy and everything. I give him that. I like his personality and shit. He's funny, but other than that, bro, horrible fighter in my opinion. Very, no wrestling, just relies on one punch. Yeah, good luck with that, bro. Have a great time with that. I think Junior's going to be able to beat him wherever this fight goes. Junior's also a black belt on the floor, so if it hits the floor, I'm pretty confident in Junior. So I got Dos Santos here. 2 units on Junior Dos Santos, and part of that parlay there.
I got I was looking at this fight, and I really did want to pick Derek Lewis for this, just because I'm a big fan. I don't mind that he's a little rough around the edges. I think he's hilarious, one of the best Instagrams you can go to. Posts a lot of cool, funny stuff. And, he's got that deal with KFC for life, man. I could see him getting another deal if he gets another knockout here. But I think that a lot of people are just really wishing that people go into that overhand right and fall for a lot of the easy traps that Derek Lewis lays out there. It's pretty obvious what he wants to hit you with. It's coming from Alabama, just super far back from his, his elbow, pretty much way far back from his waist. But he tends to land these, man. People just walk right into him. I think Junior Dos Santos is a way better boxer. This guy probably could have boxed at one point. He was thinking about it when he was in the UFC. He sparred with a lot of high-level guys, too, who say that, man, this guy's quite good. He's got a bit of a knack for it, too. This guy going up against Kane, getting a W on him. He did lose 2 more times after, but, he's kind of got a few losses peppered in there, but with really high-level guys like Stipe Miocic and Kane and Alistair, man. I thought he beat up Ivanov real nice, and he destroyed Tai Tuivasa in 2 rounds. Rough fight, but at the same time, I think he has Derek Lewis. I think Derek Lewis is a bit of the King Hippo type fighter. He hits you and knocks you into another punch. But I think Junior Dos Santos will be able to keep himself from knocking around and looking sloppy. I think he'll be able to tighten things up, and he'll be able to make Derek Lewis pay off of a lot of counters, because when Derek Lewis misses and he has no confidence, he starts to get a little bit weighty. And again, he's waiting for the overhand like always. And, it's a gamble at that point. I remember in his Francis Ngannou fight was the only time I ever saw him throw a body kick and land it. It was a nice body kick, but you've got to get really confident to have someone doing absolutely nothing in order to get hit by it. So I think, I think Junior Dos Santos wins it. I think he wins it by strikes, and I think he ends the night, or it goes the entire round. I don't know. I think you should end him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just reviewing my plays, I got 1.5 units on Sergio Moraes at plus 182, 2 units on Zaleski at plus 105, 0.5 units on Zaleski by submission at plus 800. And then I got 4 units on Tony, not Tony Martin or Anthony Rocco Martin by inside the distance, and I got 2 units on Benny Dariush, Tim Means, and Junior Dos Santos at like plus 232 or something, or 239.
Okay.
My DraftKings lineup, super quick. I got Omar Akhmedov, Benil Dariush, Tim Means, Dan Moret, Matt Schnell, and Zaleski Dos Santos. How about you, Gib?
For my DraftKings, I got Dawson. I have Dober, which I'm probably going to change. Junior Dos Santos. I got Maurice Greene, Ivanov, and Kuntiskaya. On a different one, I have Akhmedov. I have Ivanov, Kuntiskaya. I actually have Anthony Martin. I might change that one. I think after looking at that, that's quite a bit of a gimme. And Zach Ottow, and then Nico Perez.
All right, guys. See you next week for UFC London. I absolutely feel like garbage, but I'm still going to upload this super quick. I'm going to try and throw everything in the descriptions. But till next time, guys. See you.
I'm going good bets, guys.
Gamble responsibly.